Welcome to my street art studio. I'm Sive, and today we're going to be going through a little tour of my studio space as well as building out some new features. So as you're first welcomed into the studio here, there's a few pieces on the wall. This first one is my wild style alphabet. Got that just in the black and white print, a little black frame around it, followed up by the big brick canvas. This was actually one of the first pieces I did when moving into this space. You can see we have these super plain kind of white concrete walls around the basement. Not very aesthetically pleasing, not very inspiring. So with the brick canvas here, my goal was to make a big accent piece that would kind of establish myself in this studio. One of the hardest parts about this piece was cutting out each of the individual bricks and even adding some back in to make sure that the total aesthetic of the chop out doesn't kind of look too linear or look too fake. I really wanted to make it look like you kind of pull it off a wall and it's kind of, the piece has been abstracted from some brick wall somewhere. Now this piece was done with spray paint, so I wasn't actually able to make it down here. I did it up in my garage area, and I'll give you a tour of that in a little bit. Now next up we have my most recent piece, the Shapes of Sive self-portrait here. I don't know if you can check some resemblance right now. This was like a multi-month project where I was building up the contours of a face using kind of geometries of graffiti, and then totally encapsulated it in this cool like plexiglass frame. And even just a few feet away from it, you don't see that frame at all, and it's kind of just left as this big entity in the room, kind of a big scary guy staring over you. And that was my big goal. I didn't want to have like these harsh frame edges around it. I felt like that would totally lose the aesthetic of the piece, and I was really happy with how that came together. You can see I've got a few snowboards in the background here. Some are due of a new design and some I've customized already. Here we've got my most recent customization with the Oracle design. I like to describe it almost as like a car vinyl wrap that's over the entire surface of the snowboard, made for a really awesome like full color print here. This was originally like a graffiti piece on its edge, Sive there, and then I kind of flipped it, mirrored it, added some eyeballs down the middle, and kind of got this crazy geometry going on. And then a little bit previous to that, I designed the Orbit one here. It's seen better days, that's for sure. I've probably ridden it, I don't know, 20 days since then, and so between the snow and the ice, some of these stickers are definitely a little bit beat up, but the circle pattern does still look really good. And this is my rock board, so it sees the early season slough all the same. As we move over to the desk portion of the studio, this is kind of like my command center, the little brain of the studio. I'm drawing and illustrating everything pretty much over here. Got a little soft setup for a tutorial. The overhead camera shot is essential, keeps my desk nice and clear. It's a little bit funny having the tripod mounted to the ceiling, but if it works, I can't complain at all because I've filmed some of my best tutorials just right here. Got the wild style alphabet print in the color version here. So the first side was the black and white, and then on the back side you get the full color version of the alphabet. I thought the rainbow fill looked great in the white frame and really did set up the desk nicely, so even though I don't have a tutorial kind of rainbow piece on the desk all the time, I'll have one on the wall just to support. Above my desk I've got all my supplies going on. Half of it's taken up with the 200 set of Ohuhus, then we got some Blick Studios, we got some Artify, and then for the paint markers, lots of Molotovs and Montanas. So honestly, you can tell I'll grab whatever color looks best out of any of those and use it on my piece. I'm always finding like a shade of blue that I like better from one set, then a green I like better from another, and kind of building my pieces up that way. And just above my markers I've got all my sketchbooks and sticker books. It's nice to keep these kind of tucked and out of the way so I can just grab them if I need them and they don't take up any desk space. Here we got a page from the sticker book that's awfully hefty to carry. Now you might recognize the Sticker Bomb computer there, and he actually got a soft retirement about a year ago when I switched over to 4K video. Couldn't quite handle the edits on that anymore. Now I gotta have two PCs awkwardly next to one another. Unfortunately don't really have a better space for the two of them, so that's kind of just where they reside. And of course gotta have the silver play button on display right behind the desk there. Big thank you to everybody for supporting the videos. Now as we get over to the sticker wall, this might honestly be everybody's favorite part of the studio when they come through to visit. And much like the brick wall, this was kind of out of desperation to cover a lot of space in the studio all at once. This wall was literally unfinished. It wasn't even drywall, it was just studs. And so I rolled out a big sheet of white paper over top of it and started the sticker mural there, kind of as an attempt to fill the space quickly, but with lots of color and some, good emphasis too. And it really made the studio feel lived in like right off the bat. And the captivation definitely first comes with just the scale of it. Nobody's ever seen a sticker mural this big. And then secondly, they kind of get invested in looking at each of the littlest stickers and seeing how they're so different from one another. You know, you might have a printed one next to a hand-drawn one and a stenciled one all in the same little quadrant. Just telling the story of how all of these individual stickers are artists from all over the world that send in and I trade with. Unless you're trading stickers or have traded stickers, you probably have no idea about the whole kind of subculture that is. And not to mention, when someone picks out this artist and I tell them, oh, they're from Australia or they're from the UK and this guy's from Kentucky, they're astonished to see how, you know, worldwide it actually is. And that's a real fun story to have people go and say, all right, you know, pick out your favorite from here and I'll try to tell you a little story about them. Unfortunately, I think I've underutilized it as a backdrop, so I linked up with FlexiSpot today to actually build out this portion of the studio a little bit more. We are starting off with the construction of the E7plus standing desk. There are a bunch of different desk surfaces to choose from. I went after a clean white surface so it didn't compete with the sticker wall too much. I've actually been having a problem with a little menace in the studio. He's taken quite the liking to destroying my desk chair. Hopefully my new C7 series chair will calm things down a little bit. The E7 Plus has a 550-pound lift capacity, so it basically can lift weights for you. Or more practically, it can lift 3 of me to frankly a pretty absurd height. Might just catch me replacing a light bulb too. I'm excited to see what new creative projects the desk enables here. Be sure to check out the description of the video for details on their Black Friday and Cyber Monday specials. Just to the side here, I get a little resourceful with storing some of my posters. This area just is once again out of the way, but a little bonus to being in the unfinished basement. This one here is a big wild style piece I did. I think this was kind of like a part of a coloring tutorial, and this just got rolled up and stashed there for safekeeping. I've definitely shared a lot with how the studio currently exists, but I've spent a lot of time recently building out kind of my inventory and sticker operation side of things. So let's kind of do a deep dive in the background and you can see how the studio came to be what it is right now. So I'm honestly trying to set up this clip here and the lighting is so dark. I was hoping I could do some shelves over here, but actually I think it'd be better to light everything nicely and then we can improve all the shelving and whatnot. So the lighting over here is kind of interesting because we have some track lights here that I can swivel either over to the shipping stuff or even back over here towards all the inventory on the wall. And that's a quick little adjustment depending on what I'm doing. So I fortunately have 2 more of the light panels left to be able to use for this side. So hopefully we'll even it out, put kind of one here on the left and then one here on the right side. That should hopefully be plenty of light because right now it just kind of looks dismal back in the corner here. Still got a little bit of a shadow there on the rightmost edge of all the shelving, so I think I'll move this one more slot over. I only need about like 15 inches of fabric to put the little silk diffusion up, but I'm trying to think what the best way to hide all the kind of like staple gun placements are. Because I could, you know, wrap all the way around each side, or I could try to staple interior to each edge. Oftentimes I find it easier just to cut it and get it in place and see what kind of feels right. All the shelving looks good, and the shipping area, a total mess. So I finished up all the overhead lighting and making sure all the tension's good so there aren't like big sags in it. And I think the next thing I wanted to do was insulate this for some better acoustics. I don't know if you can tell now, but to me, when I'm editing, you can kind of hear when my voice gets close to like my desk down here, it kind of gets like a tinny sound off the surface. And then as well as like just the wood walls, and I'm sure even just the concrete behind the big piece there are all contributing to some pretty like sharp acoustics down here. So got some what it's called, Safe and Sound rock wool. A lot of people end up making like acoustic panels out of this stuff, so figured it was a fair choice here. And the one bonus to being in the unfinished basement is that I can probably just slot it in between all the existing grooves there. So this stuff's made out of stone wool, so even though it's not like traditional fiberglass where once it goes in it never comes out, you'll Still probably want to wear some gloves and whatnot while working with it. It's good to see the width of each of the floor joists are the same as here, so we should be able to just kind of stuff it up in there. Let's do a little before and after on this corner here. So check, check, check. You can hear the highs kind of are a little bit piercing. Let's see if a couple extra up here in the ceiling will help. Check, 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 check. I don't know. Maybe it feels a little bit more dull. So over here I doubled up on the lights so that we can actually film sticker submissions with the sticker wall as the backdrop. And then doubled up on the audio panels as well so we can have some smooth and kind of crisp audio. Want a treat? Well, I've definitely got a couple critters in the studio. Here we have Banksy, formerly named after the street artist, as you might guess. He's definitely one to take advantage of the work I'm doing in the studio, always trying to get involved, whether that's stepping on paint or brushing up on me halfway through. He's definitely well involved with the studio, so you'll catch him on the side of things. Psst, psst, psst. You want a treat? And just give it 1 sec, Dolly's on her way. Psst, psst. Come on. Can you ask nicely? Good job. Dolly, come here. Psst, psst. Can you ask nicely? Good job. So Dolly was actually my wife and I's first cat. We got her and named it after her favorite artist, Salvador Dali. Altogether, we got a couple critters crawling around the studio here, so you might see them in the foreground or even background of some of the videos. Leave them all below in the comments next time you catch them in the video. So even though I don't film over here much, it feels like I'm not respecting all my inventory as well as I should, because I mean everything just in cardboard boxes makes it feel kind of like it's just hanging out in an attic. And even when I move stuff around the studio and even move them off the shelf, it makes the clutter in the studio look kind of, you know, just poorly managed. So I feel like it's time to give it the respect it deserves, get some kind of plastic bins to help organize stuff a little bit more. From afar I've labeled the fronts of some of these with like the street side blanks and my starter pack, but unless you're like digging in, you really can't tell what's what. So maybe this will help actually give a better visual indication too. And I don't know, anything's better than cardboard, I feel like, at the end of the day. So these boxes are all my backlog of sticker packs. So I got these bigger bins here, hoping I can do like 1 whole month at a time in each of these. I was actually able to get 2 months worth in the same size box, so a little extra width is helping out here. Now the real test here is going to be peeling off these labels without making a mess of them. Maybe I'll just hit it with a touch of alcohol to get the last little bit of adhesive off. It was funny when I was checking out with these bins, I just told the lady I had 10 in my cart, and then I had like 10 smaller ones and a couple big ones, and then she goes and tells me the total is like $650. And I was like, well, we gotta double check that real quick. And sure enough, she had put a quantity of 100 of these bins on there, and I was like, gee, glad I didn't just swipe my card blindly. That, or maybe she was trying to get a quick one over on me. I've never worked as a cashier, but I can sure hope they're not incentivizing putting 10x the plastic bins on everybody's order. I feel like that's the pure opposite of shoplifting, and I should be getting a bonus discount for catching the cashier doing wrong. Now that the sticker packs are tackled, I think next up, go in for some of the blank sticker inventory. This first box here are the street side blanks. These are kind of just like a roll-up door grayscale, and I actually do like a custom one with every order I send out. Here's one that's about to go out. Looks so clean with even just the black and white kind of throwy style on there. Definitely due for a bit of a restock here. Got some nice big bricks of white eggshell blanks. The holographics are sadly all sold out at the moment. Just got one little spare one-off pack for myself. So these bins are some of the worst offenders and stuff just getting shuffled around. You can see these yellow guys are totally spread out. We've got a stack of those. We got a stack of blue guys. Got some of the mega wild styles. So all these bins are going to help keep each sticker by itself. Those guys will sneak in there. I picked these because they're basically the perfect width for the 6-inch stickers. We do hand-drawns in this bin, some assorted hellos and C-line tags. Now here comes some of the specialty vinyls. Got the Frost Clear Cut, Slimy Sive Green, Purple Multi-Tag, Banana Blue, Self-Portrait, Cursive Sprite, Oracle, Orbit Throwy, and of course, the McDonald's. A few more designs here that I haven't quite released yet. You'll just have to wait to see those. Some red and gold badges, of course. So over here at my kind of shipping station, it's been kind of just a little janky setup. I've just got these kind of cardboard dividers for markers and whatnot. I got some shelves here. My hope here is to keep a little bit of the wood aesthetic, but clean up a little bit how all the supplies look, and we'll see kind of what space we have left for hanging some art. Now don't tell I have to snug everything up with a couple little pieces of cardboard. Those are sturdy. So down here at the bottom row, I have all my hoodies and whatnot boxed up, and I tried painting this one to see if that would help kind of make the atmosphere look a little bit better. But honestly, the last plastic bin here holds up a little bit better just because taking the lid on and off of this is nice and easy versus flipping through the kind of flap of the cardboard. I'm always having to pull these all the way off the shelf and kind of like peer inside of them here to rummage around. So I got a few more totes that match the plastic style. I don't think I'll throw that box away as it's a fun little piece, but the other blank ones, they're on their way out. Looks a little familiar. I had the eyeball box here. I got the tan Sprite hoodie. This last bin of stickers here is kind of what I call like my A+ stickers. So these are what I like to include in sticker submissions as like a premier final sticker. A lot of these are like really intricate hand-drawn stickers. So these are kind of just like the cherry on top. You know, when I'm just finishing up a sticker pack, I like to make sure I include some of these, make sure that there's a really special one in the mix. Yeah, like just check out how sweet this one is from Route. I really like how the shelving came out. The clear bins kind of give a better aesthetic to not only what's in them each, but also you gotta get some nice color pops throughout the mix there. Now I didn't make too much improvements over here because my flat stock section's pretty well established. We've got posters all pre-rolled there. We've got flat stock prints and posters over here. Some of the ones on top are like a Sentinel poster I screen printed, or the big Sleepy Sive sticker. These I like to keep on hand just for, you know, quick access. Now all these are actually that alphabet print that I have hanging in my studio. I pre-numbered these all in sequential order, so whenever I send the next one out, it's the next one in the edition, so I can just pull the lowest number and go from there. Something about having all the square faces there and the square pattern of all the perfect little tubes is really aesthetically pleasing to me. This portion of the studio has a lot more work from other artists as well. We got a canvas panel from Sive there with his character on it, nice cardboard from Waste, got a Ron English flip on the Chili Peppers logo. Having some other artist work in your studio, I feel like just always adds a little extra inspiration to the mix. This drawing is actually almost like a preemptive piece to the face portrait. I drew that as kind of a freestyle sketch session to build out more of like a geometric style with wild style graffiti, and not have it just read 4 letters across. Try to build a little shape out of it. So you kind of get this kind of circle emblem looking thing, and not that it looks directly like a face, but for me, I was, while going through that sketching process, thinking about other shapes that this could complement with, and I was thinking that I could definitely tempt myself to go into the more organic realm and try a more figured form. And so I liked how this one came out enough to keep it up on the wall, but honestly it's the pure stepping stone to getting to the final piece of the Shapes of Sive portrait. So I don't know that I'll ever do anything more with this pattern proper, but for now it fills up the space kind of nicely. So over here I've got my sticker production space, got the vinyl plotter for all my sticker decal needs, got the sticker printer. I'll pack and ship everything from my laptop here and kind of just build up everything that goes out of the studio. I just got an order in for 100 street side blanks, as well as a mega sticker pack. The mega sticker pack includes every single one of my designs, as well as this huge rainbow piece. This pack's going out today, and as an added thank you to the order, I'll customize the envelope a little bit beyond just that stencil. My goal is to make sure everybody gets a one-of-one art piece, no matter what they order. Signed, sealed, and delivered. And of course, well supported by the new shelves and all the trinkets. Got also a couple more pieces of art. Got the Mother Nature piece from J. Ray that fits the wood aesthetic perfect over here. Got the Vivid Kingdoms, big uncut sheet tucked in the corner. And honestly, this is a space that really needed some life built into it. Well, we've seen how I run things down here. Let's go check out the garage space where things get a little bit messier. So as we come up into the garage space here, there's definitely a lot more kind of experimentation that goes on up here. You know, I joke that this place gets a little bit messier, but I really use this space to let the artistry fly and not let anything get too over-constrained. I really do find myself experimenting with every tool I got up here. So my screen printing press here is a 4-color, no name on the brand. I picked it up off of Facebook at one point. Guy was getting rid of it. It looked sturdy enough, and I finally had some space to use again. Ironically enough, my previous press was also kind of like this blue color, so whatever it is with the blue presses that are unknown brands, I guess I'm a fan of, because the registration holds nicely. It's got 4 colors. It's got exactly what I need. And with the screen printing, I'll use it for, you know, t-shirts or hoodies or even, you know, poster printouts. It's really a versatile setup that means I can print, you know, my imagery on next to any medium. So I really do love screen printing for that respect. If you saw maybe a couple videos back, I did a little first intro to getting back into that and had some decent results, but I've done a second full day in the studio and had even better results. So something to look forward to there. Really like to utilize this space as a full experimentation kind of side of things. That's something that feels good about leveraging the abilities I have here. Is I can tweak things and try things off for a 1-color rendition, and it means no different to me. It's the same kind of fun and outcome, and allows me to kind of tinker on things and figure out what works best for my designs and all. You can see we've got plenty of like posters and stuff tacked up on the wall just for kind of quick shot inspiration or studies on some colorways that we're working out, interestingly enough, with the screen printing. So on the back wall here, I've got all my spray paint racked up. They're kind of just like a display rack that conveniently fits an individual can of spray paint like perfectly. And I just kind of drilled them into the bare wall, and now I have 3 racks. I think they fit maybe like 40 cans each, so pretty good display there for what I can work with. And even though those aren't full cans by any means, I got a lot of colors to choose from. And with my most recent stencil project, that came in like super handy, because I was working on those for, I don't know, a few weeks time, coming in and out of them. And so when I would do a new colorway, I would go look and reference the wall to see, you know, what other colors can I use to complement that. And these actually have to kind of stay up here, because the fumes, even after like a couple weeks time, they don't quite leave the envelope. And if I bring them down into the house, it definitely kind of slowly builds, and all of a sudden the studio just smells straight up like spray paint. Also got my respirators and day bag there, all the buff paint my heart can desire off to the side, and, you know, plenty of screen printing supplies and whatnot on kind of this workbench here. So those are the CMYK prints I'm using right now. Just got some little squeegees cleaned up there, and overhead's a bunch of old silk screens, so some have designs on them, some don't, but a little bit of just tucked away storage there for everything. Now this workbench kind of gets built and disassembled into many different projects. Right now it's set up for the laser cutting. I was making all those stencils over here, but I even used this when I was cutting out the perimeter for the plexiglass like frame to my portrait. This area gets totally cluttered with supplies and whatnot more frequently than I could bear to admit, but honestly, it's kind of what the garage is for. It's get a place to get messy and really just play the experiment side of things. It was real fun touring you guys around today and giving you a little behind the scenes on the Sive operation. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.